Oh,
That's not how we start. Typically. It's not typically how we start.
The Dork Podcast. Rich Keefe. It's the Dork Podcast. Keefe Davey. It's the Dork Podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag Dork Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Rick Rude Von Dick Dude. He is Riley Von Diley. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan Davey. Davey, how are you?
Not great. I'm going to tell you.
What happened?
Usually, I just made it. So, like, usually we sit and we chit chat, we talk off for like 5 minutes or so, and then we kind of get it going. I signed on to this thing about 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, photo finish today.
What happened?
Well, you've known me a long time, right?
I have.
Even in my best, even at my best.
Yep.
I was never a big cardio guy, right?
No.
So, I'm getting older. I talked to my doctor, who's also my friend's. We've talked about this. It's also my primary care physician, one of my friend from home's wife.
Okay.
And she shoots you straight. She's like, you got to cut the shit, basically, right?
Sure.
So here I am.
Is it weird at all that your friend's wife has seen everything?
She hasn't actually. So that when those she will recuse herself, and a nurse practitioner will
come in there,
take care of that. Yeah,
grab it and whatever it needs to be done.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Boundaries, being what it is. So
smart.
But in terms of like overall health, I mean, that's her role, is to basically give me the tough love. So she's like, so I'm back on like thyroid medication and I have an issue, whatever. We won't get into it. So she's like, you got to start like exercising a little bit. So I have a Peloton, which I loved spin class when I was in Connecticut. Like I love doing spin classes. So today was like the first time in like a year I got like back on the Peloton seriously. And I tell you, that Kendall Tool, she's not messing around.
No.
She does not screw around. So probably not the best first ride to do.
Yeah.
So I get off the Peloton. I'm like, I'm just like, I just like ate like an hour before, and I'm like, I gotta like burp or something. You get like that phlegm that's like really viscous. You like, like you're coughing, so I do that, and then I go for a little burp. Guess what?
Shit your pants.
Threw up.
What?
So then I was like, I threw up like in my mouth, and then I like spit it out. Though this gets better. And then I'm like, okay. And then I like really try. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to throw up. This is like 8:45, right? So throw up so violently, Richard, that I gave myself a hellacious bloody nose. So there I am.
Quite red. You got a red face.
No, that's I just blood. Yeah, I just showered. My face is like dry, but that's neither here nor there. So I throw up, and then as I'm like there, I'm just pissing blood out of my nose.
Oh, I think you got to get off the bike for a little bit.
I got to take it easy. I got to do like those low impact rides like the old ladies do.
Yep. Hey,
I'm here to tell you that was close. I barely made it here. So cleaned myself up. Here we are.
How you feeling now?
I feel okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And she probably got 5 new boyfriends. We haven't caught anybody coming out of the house yet, but just a matter of time. She's not lonely. I apologize.
Now, if Wendy Williams got a hellacious bloody nose on stage, that's what I wanted. That's what you're looking at right there.
Say, man,
awful.
I had to
How are you?
Well, I had a tough drive through the rain. I thought that was bad. Hard rain is real hard.
Hard rain.
Yeah.
With
the steering wheel like a son of a bitch. Yeah, but no, I'm good. I can't really top the ride a bike, burp, puke, bloody nose combo.
Well, it was burp, throw up in your mouth.
Yeah.
Really puke, then bloody nose.
You know what? You're probably pretty dehydrated right now.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
Puking's not good. Puking stinks. Puking's the worst.
I had to brush my teeth. It was the whole thing.
I haven't puked in a long time, and it's funny because my daughter sometimes gets car sick, right? And so,
same.
So she said, so we must have said like, oh, you puked or whatever. So now she tells everybody she puked. And then she's like, she went for a ride with Katie the other day and she puked. And she's like, Dad, I puked. I'm like, yeah, I heard. I'm like, you doing all right? And she's like, have you ever puked? I'm like, I have puked. I'm like, I haven't in a while, but I've puked.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, not good.
Yikes, spikes, indeed.
Yeah, not good. Well, we have a lot to get to today. And without further ado, let's.
This week in Dork. Yeah.
Ryan, we are 5 episodes into Ahsoka, the Star Wars Disney Plus series. We have done 2 episodes already on it after the first 2 episodes and then after the first 4 episodes. And I did a brief little spoiler-filled 2-minute video. You can find it on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast. My reaction to episode 5. What was your reaction to episode 5?
This show is shit hot right now.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. And I see now why one, Filoni was like, I'm directing this one, and 2, we're gonna release it in some theaters, because what a treat that was.
So cool. It was so cool. Yeah, so cool. I love it. So we won't spoil it here, but it was great. I mean, people were tossing out like, is this the best Star Wars like thing? And I don't know if I'd go that far. Like, I really, really liked it. I thought it was a good sort of pickup after episode 4, which left it in such a crazy way. I thought it was awesome, and I can't wait to see where these 3 episodes go.
What a redemption arc, not only for Anakin Skywalker, but for Hayden Christensen too. I know that's like spoiler. I mean, if you've been on the internet the past couple days, I mean, whatever. But like getting panned in these movies, to being in the arguably the worst Star Wars movie, to being in probably one of the best things they've done in the last 30 years.
Pretty sweet.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. So here's the question. I was going to save this for the Ahsoka one. Maybe we can revisit it in the Ahsoka episode. Not which is better. Which would you rather watch? The prequel trilogy or the most recent trilogy?
Ooh.
Because clearly, like, as far as like just like cinema, one of them is a lot better than the other, like just the way they're shot, the way they look, and everything else. But I'm telling you, Filoni's done such a good job with Clone Wars and Rebels. I'd be looking for all the little clues and things that he played off of, and like what relates one into the other. You have Darth Maul. Darth Maul is so much better than like Snoke or any of those other characters. Even though that movie's got problems, it's still got Darth Maul. It's got the Duel of Fates. And then Revenge of the Sith, I never disliked. I've always liked episode 3.
I always thought that was, other than the cringy end part, you know, but it's so clear to everybody now how important Anakin Skywalker is to this universe, and you don't get him in 7, 8, 9. I mean,
well,
a little bit, but like
kind of like the Kylo stuff, and then like but overall, like he's
the most. Would you like? There's no other character in that universe who's way more pivotal than him.
He's the most important character, and I also think Ahsoka is even making that more so, because now Ahsoka's such a sweet character, and she was the only person ever trained by Vader, or Anakin. So that part's awesome.
Yeah,
good. Joshua in the chat, bike ride, puke, bloody nose. It's now the Arvon D hat trick. So if anybody can pull off an Arvon,
I dare. Go ahead, try it. I dare you.
I dare you. Yeah, dude, I'm pumped for Ahsoka final 3 episodes. The other thing there's a debate on Twitter after the 5th one, and I didn't take part, but I observed, and people arguing Ahsoka or Andor, or versus Andor, I guess. And let me tell you this right now, I don't think you have to pick a side. I enjoy both very much, and I love the fact that they are in the same universe, and one is dealing with space whales and the world between worlds, and then the other one is dealing with like an old-fashioned rebellion with like blasters and
no Jedi
and thievery, and like it's great. I love the fact that both exist.
Ask me which one I prefer.
Ryan, which one do you prefer between Ahsoka and Andor?
Yes.
Correct. Yes,
I do.
You don't
yes, I do. Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
I think, and I haven't. Is there any word on how many seasons Ahsoka is getting? I haven't heard.
I've heard not word one.
Hopefully 1 million, because Andor was right out of the rip. They're like, we're doing 2 seasons. I was like, you're gonna get 2 seasons out of this? And you're like, no, actually,
2 seasons out of like a year.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah,
sure we are.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for that too.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Disney Plus, they're raising rent on Disney Plus. And
what else is
damn it, they got us. They got us by the gonads. So what are we gonna do? Not pay it?
No, we have to.
I'm paying it.
Yeah, I'm paying it.
This is a curious announcement Werewolf by Night, which I think we did a standalone on.
We did.
Yeah, we did. You and I both liked it very much. It was like a short movie that takes place in the MCU, but like really not related to anything. And it was a blast. It was an absolute treat. And it was in black and white. And now they announced that they're going to release it in color.
Why?
I don't think that movie needs it.
It doesn't. It
That'd
was
be
like
worse.
it's an old school monster movie that was kind of cool in black and
Yeah.
white. Like,
I don't get
leave
it.
it.
Keep it. Keep it.
Like, who complained that was in black and white?
Are you going to watch some of it just to see what it looks like or skip it?
I might like fast forward through like
Just to see. Yeah.
just to see what it looks like. But like, it looks so cool in black and white. Like, why do that?
I'd kind of forgotten about that
Just
movie.
leave
too.
it.
I might rewatch it in Dorktober.
The only thing, so like Logan was awesome, but it was kind of better in black and white. I don't know if you saw like the Logan Noir.
I never did. I never watched it
It
in black
it
and
was
white.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
That would definitely play pretty well. Here's a movie that was not shot in black and white at all. Barbie is on video on demand right now. You can watch Barbie from the comfort of your own home, which I did this past weekend. My wife saw it in the theaters and loved it so much that she wanted to watch it again. I said, I want to see this too. I watch as many movies that come out in a year as possible. It's the biggest box office smash success. And I'll tell you what, Ryan, I really enjoyed it. It was very good.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I don't know if I want to pay for it yet,
Uh-huh.
but when
I get
it's
it.
on Max or something, like I'll definitely check that
Yeah,
out for sure.
that'd probably be my recommendation. Like for people that have waited this long, you might as well wait a little bit longer and get it for free. I would still probably go like 5. I'd give it a 5, like a soft 5.
All right.
Katie went 6. Katie said one of the best movies she's seen in years. So she was a very pro Barbie. Margot Robbie's great. Ryan Gosling's really good. America Ferrera is in this, and she's really good. Yeah, America Ferrera is in this. Some other like I don't know if you'd call them cameos because it's like a little bit longer than a cameo, but there's a few other good actors or actresses. And it really kind of begs the question overall, was Barbie good for women? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if
I don't
it's a
know the
simple
answer. You know why, Richard? You know why?
because we're men.
We don't identify as women. We can't answer that question.
Can't really tell
legally.
you. It's not. We don't know the answer to this.
It's not for me.
I don't think anybody knows the answer.
No, women do, just not us.
But I think the movie, kind of lends to that a little bit too. I don't know, they do a good job with it because if you're just like, oh, they're making a movie about Barbie, you're like, what the fuck is that even going to be? And pretty good.
I knew it had to be. I don't want to know. The less I know about it, the better.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say
that. Like, no, but I do know that like it had to be more than that, than to be like just poking fun at like Barbie and like,
oh, big time.
You know, in the 50s or whatever. Like, had to be poking more fun at it than that. Had to be smarter than that.
No, it's smart. Yeah, it's a smart movie. Yeah, for sure. A series that has begun that I have not watched. I say yet, but maybe ever. Be The Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon.
A show that exists
in the world.
How did he get to Gay Paris?
No idea, dude. That's a long way to get like washed ashore from, like across the entire Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
It's a tough go. So this is a character that was created for the show. So I give him credit for this because it's an incredible comic book, one of my favorites ever. And Daryl is a non-comic character, and yet he's great. Norman Reedus, who excels in Boondock Saints and is also very good in this.
I watched that movie recently. That movie sucks.
No, it does. Shut your mouth.
It does.
Oh, yeah, right. Sure, it does. You know who says that? The same people that think Dane Cook was never funny and that Limp Bizkit kicked ass.
Those two things I'm on your side.
Thank you.
But I will tell you that
Boondock Saints
is not good. Willem Dafoe in that movie is
incredible.
Ridiculous.
Tour de
He's
force.
Ridiculous.
Did he win an Oscar or did he get nominated? Either. Willem Dafoe was awesome in that.
When he does that huge monologue, like in front of the house, like reenacting what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a shit movie.
He was chewing up some of the scenery a little bit in that.
A little bit. He was having a little too much fun with it.
He was having a blast. I remember one night, I don't even know how this started, and I swear we weren't even high. I don't get high. I pass on grass. But even the rest of us, if we've been drinking, would that have been it? All we did all night was come up with movie titles where we would take out one word from the title and put in snakes. And when somebody said Boondock Snakes, it It was an absolute thrill. So at first, it was a lot of shows that like it like rhymed or sound similar to snakes, but then that got tossed out the window, and then it was like a few good snakes, and it was just like you just not just any word, swap it out for snakes. You're looking around.
Like, I'm just looking around like for
Yeah.
movies that I have that I could add snakes to, but
Snakes on a snake. Like it's all like a
snakes on a snake. It's a good
house of 1,000 snakes. It's a good like we could do a whole episode just us doing that, just riffing.
Halloween snakes.
No, Halloween snakes. Terrible.
You don't want to see Halloween snakes?
No, the one that also sent people over the edge was how Stella got her snake back. people without that one, that got a good pop. Speaking of good pops, Ryan, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson returned to WWE SmackDown this past Friday in Denver, and I think the lid popped off. People were going nuts.
So was that a complete surprise? Did people see that coming?
I mean, there's so many rumors, and it's very hard to have anything not spoiled. But I certainly didn't know about it. I didn't read that anywhere.
The people of Denver had no idea because as soon as the "if you smell" hit, they went berserk.
Yeah,
and it's when a wrestler gets a good pop when they come out like right on like the runway and they stand there.
Oh
for,
yeah,
2 minutes.
I think, and that's why the theme music is so important, because some of these guys that have just like generic bullshit, it's hard to also get the good pop with it. Because there was a time, Ryan, would you say from 97 to 2000, where if you heard "if you smell" or if you heard the glass break, it was like you
or
jumped
the bell, like the Undertaker bell,
like the gong thing or whatever.
Yeah.
You would jump to the edge of your seat.
You like immediately, like as soon as you heard the glass, you were like on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
Still to this day, if I hear breaking glass, I'm like looking around.
Stunner, you're gonna get Stunner.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So the Rock's back. I don't know.
Throw the hand up. Someone's gonna throw me a beer.
Just catch every one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna probably fight Roman Reigns at some point. I don't know when that'll be, but that's got to be what they're setting this thing up for. So.
Electric.
Yeah. Oh, it's an absolute blast. All right, let's get to this.
It's time for Davey's video game minute, even if it takes more than a minute.
All right, Ryan, what do you have?
Well, I got to tell you. So I watched the PlayStation State of Play. Did you watch any of this?
No.
With the new Spider-Man updates that they gave you, like they showed you gameplay, they showed you all this stuff.
When's that come out? Next month? Spider-Man
Yes.
2? I think it's October. I wasn't
It's
sure.
end of October. I think it's next month. So they have doubled the size of the map, including Brooklyn and Queens are now part of the map.
Nice.
There is a faster fast travel. The app is better, so you can like see icons and stuff like that. You can, like Grand Theft Auto 5, you can switch between the two instantly. So you can play as one and then switch and go to the other one. Not only that, but if you're playing as Peter Parker or Miles Morales, there is a chance that you'll run into the other one just doing his shit like in the city. Like you can actually like find each other like in the city.
That's gonna be so sick, because
there's
it's
wings.
I was gonna say playing the
wings.
last one was on PS4, and so now playing this one on the PS5 with like the no load times is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, so they're claiming you can switch between the two, no load time.
Wow. That's sick.
65 suits between the two of them.
Ooh.
So
That's nice.
This looks awesome.
I can't wait.
Already a game of the year contender in my mind. I started playing Starfield.
Yeah,
Here's the good and the bad.
Okay.
It's great. So like I'm in the process right now of getting it's one of those games where like you don't even have to touch the story missions. Like you can just do like side missions all the live long day. So I'm trying to get like this like class A ship. I saw you can go on like TikTok and see how you get things like early in the game that are like incredible.
Yeah.
So there's this ship that you can then modify to like look like anything you want. So someone made like a Batwing.
Sick.
It's actually pretty sweet. So someone made a Millennium Falcon.
Smart.
The problem is that I have a pretty good PC and this thing overheats my graphics card like crazy.
Oh shit.
So so I think it's like I need to like redo my thermal paste. Like that's how good, like how massive this game is.
Yeah.
I've seen some gameplay of Mortal Kombat 1. Looks really fun. Did you see they put in the 5-finger exploding heart technique?
Yep, I saw
That's a
that.
fatality. Oh,
Sick.
it's so cool.
It's a good one.
So cool. And the last bit of news, and this is a bit of sad news, but a bit of good news. So
Oh.
Square Enix Marvel's Avengers, which was the widely panned game, they're taking it completely off stores at the end of this week. So you can get it now for $4.
Okay. Oh, think about it.
Yeah, why not, right?
Do I want a large iced coffee or do I want Avengers?
You can have both. I'm going to let you treat yourself to have both. And it's a game you'll play for 20 minutes and be like, I don't think I like this.
I wish I didn't do that.
Actually, the story in that game was actually pretty cool. Like if you just play the story mode, the online stuff I didn't really care for.
Remember I played that, right? They put out a beta for that.
They did.
I remember playing that and being like, it's all right. But...
Yeah, the story was actually pretty good. I was a fan of that.
What's better, Gotham Knights or Avengers?
Okay, so I never got to play the multiplayer of Gotham Knights. I'm sure that would have been better. The problem with Gotham Knights, it was just so repetitive.
Yeah,
like it's the same mission over and over again. And the story of our Avengers story is actually a good one.
okay. Right.
There's an event that like San Francisco basically gets like blown up, and all the Avengers are there. They're responsible for it.
Got it.
Avenger Con happens. Kamala Khan is there, so it's like
all right.
it's a pretty good story. But yeah, there's the Davies video game minute for you.
Ryan, very good. Are you ready for the topic du jour?
I'm not sure what that means.
Actually, I got a follow-up question for you real quick, just for the sake of
Y'all ready for bisque?
continuity.
What is a bisque?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It's the topic of the day, and today it is.
Last week, I saw a film. As I recall, it was a horror film.
The horror film Talk to Me, which came out earlier this year in theaters, but it is now available on video on demand. It is 1 hour and 35 minutes long, which is the perfect time for a horror movie. It is getting a 95% critic score on Roddy T's, 82% by the audience. We begin as we do with all of our TV and movie reviews, spoiler free. Ryan, did you like it?
Hell yeah.
Me too.
I like this movie a lot.
It was really good.
And it was one of the ones that like I watched it, really liked it. And then the more I thought about it, I liked it even more.
Yes. And without giving too much away in the spoiler free portion, I liked it like the whole time. And then like the last 5-10 minutes was like, oh, I think I love this movie. Like, yeah, like
and
it jumped up a little bit.
Without giving too much away too, in my mind, why I started to like it more, I was like, okay, what else can you do with this?
Yeah.
Like what's next?
Yeah. So the premise, for those that don't know, and I didn't know a ton about it. I saw the trailer. Oh my God, the trailer's pretty spooky. And then the overall premise, which is there's a severed hand which belonged to a medium, and now a bunch of high school kids have it, and it's like got like a, what would you say on it? Like
it's like graffiti that's like writing on
yeah,
it.
but they also like made it like they put like not a plastic, but they like put something on it. It's like
it looks like, it says it's embalmed in the thing, but it looks like it's like a cast. It looks like it's
it's in the cast basically, but it's
like wrapped,
holding its hand out. And so if you
like to shake your hand,
so if you shake the hand and say talk to me, a person or a spirit really of somebody that the medium talked to sits in front of you, and so you can immediately see that person. Mm-hmm. And then if you say like let me in, then that
I let you in,
then that person jumps into your body, then you're possessed. And what they also do, and this is all early in the movie, they light like a candle, and then they blow the candle out, and then like the people in the room remove the hand, and then you're out of it. Mm-hmm. They always say you want to do it like not a very long time. But the other thing that they do in this is it's very modern, where all the kids that are doing it, they do it at like parties, they film everything, they like upload it to like TikTok and everything else. So but that's basically the premise of it. Like we ask with all these horror movies, because the answer is not always the same, but did you think this is scary?
Yeah,
me too. There's definitely
Like, I didn't
there's
think
good scary parts.
it's tough. It's tough to be scared now because I think we've seen. You think every time you see a horror movie, like you've seen everything there is to see, right? Like you can't freak me out anymore. We've seen some shit. I've seen enough scary movies where like
I see a lot of scary movies. Yeah.
Yeah. But there are some legitimately, and they aren't like jump scare things. They're just like, could you imagine if you saw that? Like if you saw that happen,
Yeah.
you know?
And I was thinking too, like scary movies to me aren't necessarily always like super scary in the moment, but it's like how much does some of the stuff linger with you?
Right.
And this movie has a lot of that where you're like, oh shit. And then you like forget about it for a minute. And then all of a sudden you're like in your basement by yourself and you're like, oh, that's fucking scary. I remember thinking
One thing in particular, I'll get to in spoilers that was like
Okay.
kind of freaked me out.
Okay. No, it was good. The story is pretty simple, sort of like what we said. And then you can imagine there might be some issues with all of that. I would say as far as pretty unique, like there's some overlap to some other type of horror movies that are in there, but like the premise is one that I haven't heard this before, right?
No, it's a great modern ghost story. Is what it boils down to. Like you don't.
Good.
Ghost stories are good. Yep.
Yes, JT says there's a lot of Australian movies and stuff coming out. This is Australia. I don't know if we even mentioned it, but this is an Australian one.
Mhm.
And it's like two guys, I believe, that are sort of like YouTubers. And then this is like one of the first things they like directed.
Which is like, as the movie industry is plummeting as we speak, it's going the way of the music industry. I hope you see a lot more of this. I hope you see a lot more fresh faces and like people who have better ideas than just regurgitating the same bullshit. Like I hope that what comes of this writers and actors strike is that unless you're Drew Barrymore, then you can do whatever you want and whatever.
No, she's not doing the show anymore. She's not doing it.
Oh, she's not. I thought she was.
She was, and then she got a lot of backlash. So
although she came out and said, "Well, I kind of have to," and then they're like, "You're a scab," and she's like, then she was like, "Never mind."
I think she's out. Yeah, I think so.
What a dickhead.
That's the latest. I mean, that could certainly that could change in any minute.
Scab.
The acting again, horror movie acting can be all over the place, but I thought it was good because you had primarily a cast of like high school students, and then you had a couple of adults. One of the moms was in it a decent amount, and actually, you know who the mom was?
I recognized her from Lord of the Rings.
Yes, she was in Lord of the Rings. She was also she's in a bunch of those movies. She was also in the Netflix Sabrina, you know, the show with the girl from Mad Men. Well, she's one of the aunts in that.
But I remember she was Eowyn in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Yes, she was. So she was in a pile of Lord of the Rings. There's something else that she was in. It's gonna bug me. What Lies Beneath? The Thin Red Line. She's in some stuff.
She's been in some stuff.
She got a good little filmography here.
Brian Mush asked us if in the movie if any of those fuckers popped out of the wall. They did.
Any of these little fuckers ever pop out of the fucking wall and say, "Fuck, there's a horse cock in my room" or a donkey dick?
Which is incredible because we found out in this movie that that's a direct reference to this movie.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not a spoiler, everybody.
But it is definitely the adult tour.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Comedy. I mean, I think I wouldn't call it comedy, but I think there are like light moments, like most good horror movies, because they know you're kind of tense. They find a way to like kind of lighten the mood with like a couple of jokes that aren't like piss yourself laughing, but it's good to sort of bounce back and forth between like, am I scared? Am I laughing? Am I scared? Am I laughing?
That happened in the beginning, but once it kind of got its legs, like once the setup was done, it was off and running. You said this was an hour and 37, tight.
Yeah,
hour 37.
Yeah, damn right it was. I would have to say not early, it's September. So I would say right now, and I know there's a bunch more coming out, got to be a #dork horror movie of the year nominee.
I mean, what else is there? Like The Nun 2?
The Nun 2, Electric Boogaloo. You had Scream, 6.
6, yeah.
5? No, 6.
6.
Scream 6. You had Knock at the Cabin, which I really liked.
I didn't see that one yet.
You had Evil Dead Rise.
See, which is good. This was better than Evil Dead Rise.
I would agree with that as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this jumped up there. All right. So with that said, what is your #dork score for Talk to Me?
5.5.
I'm going 5. I'm going rock hard 5. 5.5. I can understand that it was good, and this could maybe even go up. Like you said, I think I've even liked it more in the last couple of days thinking about it than even as I was watching it. Anything else? Spoiler free. Again, this one right now is available at home to pay for. It's got to be. How soon will it be for free somewhere? It's got to be free
a month
at some point.
maybe.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I justified it though. I wanted to buy because one, I knew we were doing this, but two, like Ryan and I were talking, it's cheaper than a night out.
Yeah,
and I own
seriously.
it now.
If you're watching it together, like, do you want to go to the theater and watch something not so great, or sit at home and watch this?
Yeah. I made some margaritas. We made some shitty nachos. It's our own recipe called shitty nachos.
They're actually quite delicious.
They're delicious, but when we were poor, we would make them. We call them shitty nachos. It's like a comfort food that the Davies eat.
I love it. I had nachos last night. Me and my wife during the old Patriots game.
Oh yeah,
when they lost.
Shitty Patriots, good nachos.
Yep.
Right. Right.
They lost to the Whales, so that's what I'm calling them now. So I was telling you this. I asked Cece before she went to bed. I go, "Who do you think's going to win, Patriots or Dolphins?" She goes, "I think the Whales." And I was like,
"Whales."
I'm like, all right. She was right. Whales won. Whales came out on top.
Spoilers! Here come the spoilers!
All right, Ryan. If this hand thing really existed in the real world, do you think this is how people would actually use it?
Oh, absolutely. Because I say this all the time. 80% of the 80% of the population in this world are idiots.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like they would and that's why this was so believable to me. Because if this fell into the hands of like irresponsible teenagers, like they would do this exact same thing.
Yeah.
And they would video it and they would like think it was fun and like you're messing with like you think of like stupid shit kids do anyway without the supernatural. You know, have you seen those kids that like I think of like those kids in New York who like on their bikes, like they ride like wheelies and then try to get as close to cars as they can and then swerve out of the way.
Yeah, they're
like
doing
this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
They're definitely doing this.
They're absolutely doing this.
I would say you and I, both in our advanced age, I think can fairly say that we would not do this. But let's be honest with yourself. Would 16 and 17-year-old Keefe and Davey do this?
I think if I have, as you know, in my younger days, remember in Back to the Future when people would call like Marty McFly a chicken and he would just like lose his shit.
Yeah, you don't want to call him a chicken.
If someone said to me at that age, like, you won't, like, no balls, you won't do it, I would do it. Like, there was a 90% chance of whatever you were talking about, I would do it.
It's funny because I'm not really a peer pressured person overall, but you're right. There's a difference between like, and it also depends on
who's doing it.
Who's doing it, right? Because I wouldn't be like, oh, I have to do this. But if let's say somebody had this hand in our high school dorm, and a couple of dudes were doing it, and they were like, it's fucking bananas. And then you're like, one night, you're like, all right, I got at least see. So maybe you don't do it, but you're at least in the room when they start doing it. And then you're like, all right, at this point, I got to figure out what that's like.
But you remember, like we would do dumb shit anyway. Like, think of like that thing where like you would like make each other pass out.
Yeah, it's a terrible game.
Everyone did that though. Like, why did we do that?
It's a terrible.
Why did you do that?
You cut the air off. Yeah, it makes sense.
You breathe, have 5 deep breaths, hold your breath. Someone will squeeze the shit out of you. You just go limp.
What about Johnny Hundo?
Johnny Hundo. It's Johnny Hundo.
Johnny Hundo, you'd do this. You're
I would absolutely
looking down on everybody doing this, but you'd be first in line.
But it's so funny. Like to me, that's so far away. Like that's a different person.
Oh, it's like half our life ago or whatever, however you want to describe it. But yeah,
now I'd be like, get it the fuck out of my house. I'd be like, you get that, you and that thing, get out of my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, truth be told, like sophomore, junior year, high school, I'm shaking. I'm like,
we were absolutely honest.
Yeah. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Put the video up and everything. So this movie also does a good job. A lot of movies do this. And if I was going to write a horror movie, I'd probably do something similar to this, where at the beginning of the movie, you kind of throw a bunch of characters who aren't really going to be in the movie. And something crazy happens. And then you kind of almost forget about it as a viewer. Right. So we see that scene where it's like, first of all, the fucking music in this is awesome.
Sure is.
What was that? Like Australian house music? What is that?
Oh, I don't know. I can't even describe it, but it
It's
is like club
techno?
music.
Is it house
Yeah.
club? What I don't know what you'd call it, but it's like good. And I never heard it before, so I assume it's Australian, but I don't know. But so it's like this massive house party. You're like following the person because like I'm like, I don't know who the main characters are or who they aren't.
Right.
And the guy's he's like trying to find his brother. He's banging on the door. Kid fucking walks out there, stabs his brother like in front of everybody. There's gonna be like 100 people at this house, stabs him, then kills himself. And you're like, the fuck? And then the next thing you
By
know,
stabbing himself in the head with a knife.
yeah. And not your
or in the eye or something. Yeah.
not your typical kill. And so you see that and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then it jumps to like the group of characters that we're going to see for the rest of the movie. And so that's still in the back of your mind, but then it obviously plays out later on. And as the movie's going on, you're even thinking back, you're like, oh, that guy obviously got involved with the hand. And then you're kind of going from there.
It was almost like a Scream thing. It was like a cold open that like Scream would do.
Yeah. Which so I like that.
Yeah.
But I liked the cast of characters that we have. So like Mia and was it Jade are like the main kind of characters. And then you have Riley, who's their brother, and we'll get to him in a second. But out of all the characters that were in the movie, did you have a favorite character?
I kind of liked who was the boyfriend? Jade's boyfriend.
Was it Mac? No, was it Daniel?
Daniel. Where he was just like the control. He's like kind of like he's just a good kid.
Yeah,
he's like, he kind of gets suckered into this, and
oh, so good. Like he doesn't drink, and the best is Jade's mom, who we were just talking about from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
she was hysterical. What was I should have wrote down the lines. I wasn't gonna write it down, but she was like, "Don't touch her
the party."
Vagina, basically, no. But she was like giving like the Bad Boys 2 routine.
Stay out of her vagina. Yeah,
don't touch her. Like no, her vagina's off limits. And then she's like, she said something else to him. And the kid's like, wait, what? Like that kid is like a super prude. Like those two haven't even like kissed, I don't think.
Yeah, and he's just like a good kid.
He's like a nice guy, and she's giving him the riot act.
Well, it's funny too, because like I loved when she was like going around room to room and like kid to kid. And oh, you know who else I loved is Riley's friend, the fat kid.
Yeah, he was good.
Because they were like, where's the party? She's like, where's the party? Like, when's the party? Like, who's coming over? And he's like, they're all like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no party. Like, there's no party. He's like, you better not drink. And the fat kid was like, there's booze, I'm drinking.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that kid was good.
Yeah.
I like Jade too. I thought Jade was pretty good because she was sort of like, she's kind of caught in between. Like she's with the boyfriend, but they don't really even do anything. And then she's like being protective of her brother. She's kind of not really in on this shit, but like she's got to kind of go down that road. But you talked about all the different things that you can do with it. So if you shake this thing's hand, somebody pops in front of you. And so the first time you see that, it's kind of jarring because it's like you don't know what you're going to see, what they're going to look like. They're sitting in the chair.
And it was like kind of quick. Like the first time they did it, it was like a pan shot, like from the person's perspective who was like in the chair.
Yeah.
And it kind of swept, and you just saw it for a second. You're like, whoa. And
it's pretty cool because nobody else can see it except for the person that's shaking the hand, but everybody watches the person's reaction to it. So it's like a jump scare from somebody else, like through somebody else. And then they go in there and like their faces get all fucked up. Their eyes get like black and they put their head back.
Yeah. And they have to strap them to the chair so that they don't get up. Yeah. And what's funny too is like, this is like what I found fascinating too, is like, while this horrible stuff is going on, like to the person it's happening to, and they're kind of freaking out, right? Everyone else is laughing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they think it's hilarious and they're all filming it. They get their cameras out and everything. And just like, it's fun.
Yeah, that's
like
kind of like
these kids these days.
I was going to say, it's fucking kids, man. That's a good sort of modern twist on it because I think if this exact same premise came out even like 20 years ago, you could make that movie. You could convince us that kids, like we just did with ourselves, like would do it. But I don't think everybody else would be like drinking, laughing, videotaping. You might have one guy videotaping it, but just to sort of see it after, and everybody else would be kind of like free to make sure they're okay, kind of thing. Like I don't know.
But I know it's kind of like that one-upsmanship of like this online culture that like you have to like whatever someone did, you had to do it like the next level. And I feel like this is kind of like a heightened version of that.
Yeah.
Where you hear about this thing and like this one person has it and they're kind of have like this social currency now that they can like show up to any party. Or they like wherever they go, the party follows them, you know.
Well, yeah, I
So,
mean, it is very like linked to like drugs because
right,
it's like
and
the
that's
way the way the two was it Haley and was it Joss, I think? Like the way those two would like sort of show up party to party is
Mhm.
like, all right, you got to go. They're
well,
your
they have to come like like, and they had to like.
yeah.
I remember that like what was the girl's name again? Haley. Was it
Haley,
Haley? Haley.
Haley, who like
She
has
and
the hand now. Yeah,
yeah, and so she was like, "Oh, like, can you come over my place tonight?" She's like, "I don't know, I got a couple other places I got to be," and
yeah,
so like obviously like people are asking them to come over and like hang out,
yeah.
So
So then you
yeah,
do get the call back to the kid initially because, well, the brother. So the brother actually
Mhm.
survives the stabbing. The other kid clearly doesn't. Um, but they go and talk to him. So they had the hand, and then they
yeah,
gave the hand to Haley, and he's like, he wants nothing to do with it. He's fucking scared of it. And the reason why they do this is because Riley,
oof.
he wants to go. Little guy Riley, little kid, I'm guessing middle schooler, maybe a freshman.
They said he's like 13 or 14,
Okay, so let's say
yeah,
eighth grade or seventh or eighth grade.
or ninth, eighth or ninth grade, yeah,
And he goes. The sister didn't really want him to go, but she's like, whatever. Um, and then this was pretty fascinating. So also you get introduced to Mia, and it is like the anniversary of her mom's death. So they're
right,
kind of ping ponging back a little bit and doing some flashbacks to that. And because you're just wondering, like, it's kind of random when people shake hands. It's random who's in the chair over there. And it's funny, as soon as Riley got in the chair and Jade wasn't having it, she takes off, whatever. As soon as
no,
Riley,
remember, so Daniel, her boyfriend, did it, and then he was like that horny guy, and then he started making out with the dog, and then he like
oh,
came to, and then he freaked out and ran out, and she followed him, so that
right,
was precipitating like how Riley was by himself.
right. And
Yeah,
then Mia was like, no, okay, fine. Because Mia liked it. Mia, she wanted to do it. And clearly, like, the kids there don't really like Mia. Like, she's not well liked. When she was at the party, they were like, get the fuck out of here.
she's
And
weird, yeah,
yeah, they let her do it. She liked it looked like she was having a horrible time, but then she came out, loved it, and then wanted to do it again.
right.
And so Riley gets his hands on it. And I'll tell you, as soon as he did it, and then he looked over at Mia, I knew exactly what it was.
And it was one of those things that you didn't know until, like you said, there was that look, and you're like, it's her mom.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
like, it was so well done because they gave you just enough of it. So like it was on your mind. And so he glances over and she's like, yeah, go ahead. And he's like, okay. And then they start talking. And then that's really at that point the end of Mia, because now Mia, and understandably so,
Right.
is obsessed with this, chasing this down, trying to like talk to her again, and
Yeah.
makes the mistake of letting Riley go more than 60 seconds being possessed.
Well, they said 60. It was only there's a 90-second time limit, and she told him it was only going to be like 60 seconds.
Or even
And then he
less.
went
Like,
over
they were
2
like,
minutes.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. It was gonna be even
Mhm.
less for Riley because he's just a little bit of a guy. And then what happens to Riley is as vicious and violent and fucked up as you're gonna see in horror movies, because he's just like this little like 70-pound kid.
Yeah.
He gets, so this is what I was talking about before with like sort of it is a unique idea, but then you said ghost story or like possession movie. Like I'm thinking of like Exorcist type movies
Yeah.
where you have like a demon in him and he's just smashing his own head against everything in there. They can't stop him. His face is all fucked up. And then even when it cuts to him in the hospital bed, everything's
all fucked up.
swollen. He's like breathing out of a tube.
Oh, and then remember, Jade
smokes.
puts her hand down to like stop him from like smashing his head. He hits it so hard he breaks her hand.
Yeah, he smashed it. Yeah, right. She catches the hand. And, oh my god, that was intense.
That
Riley
was super intense.
smoked. Yeah,
And so the part I was talking about that was like really scary to me. So like he's sitting in the hospital, and then Jade does the thing. Mia does the thing again, and she's like, basically like, go. I want to go the other way. Like I want you to show me him,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so, and the girl takes him. He's like, I'll show you where he is. And that part where it's like him and like all these like demons or dead people are like ripping him apart. So like every time he comes to, he's just trying to die.
Yeah. Ugh.
Like he just wants to die because like he's getting like while he's there.
Yeah, he's stuck in there, and
Yeah.
they're just like it. That was a crazy scene too. Yeah, it's like just quick flashing,
And he's
a
in the
lot-
shower and he's like smashing his head and like laughing as he's like smashing his own head. Like,
Oh, and then they got to get him out of there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's one of the reasons why they go back to the brother from the opening scene too, is just because, like you're saying, they're like, what is this? Like, what do we even do here?
Also, Dave said that when he tried to rip his own eye out, like that was
Oh,
forgot about that.
Yeah, that was intense.
That shit was crazy.
It was fucked up. It was really fucked up.
Hard to watch.
Yeah, no, it was. It definitely was. But then you get so I liked the movie the whole time, and then the ending of it, and this is sort of all part of that crescendo, if you will, with Riley and everything. But then Mia, and then everything that's going on with Mia, and then she's like in the hospital. Then the next thing you know, she's out of the hospital. She's running around. Then she's like jumping off into off a bridge, basically onto like a highway.
You forget she kills her father.
Right.
There's a whole thing with her and her father, and he's like, remember the mom, the spirit of her mom was like, that's not your dad. That's them pretending to be your dad. And tricks her.
Yeah, because the mom, it was like actually the fake mom, and then you're getting the dual the dad, like the dad in real time is just like outside, like cleaning up or whatever. Then you get the other dad who she thinks is like attacking her, and then she kills him. And then there's this happens in a lot of horror movies too, is like when somebody does something and then like their friend discovers it later on, because then Jade goes to the house, sees the dead
and she okie dokes her to get her out of the hospital so she can go and kill Riley.
It's smart.
So that whole like last half hour of this movie was like super intense. Like I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah. No, I didn't either. And it was funny because I was talking to Stiz about it, because Stiz, from the producer of the Rich Keefe Show, he saw this in theaters and he was like, you got to see this. This movie's fucking awesome. And I'm like, I will. Finally saw it. And he was like, he asked me if I predicted the ending. And I'm like, not really. Cause shit got going that I was like, I didn't even think that far ahead. I was just like going from like, as they were going through with Riley, and I'm like, is Riley going to make it out of this? Or do they need like a exorcism basically to get him out of there? Like, what's going to happen? And then the next thing you know, it's like bing, bang, boom. Mia's probably dead. And then all of a sudden Mia's grabbing a hand, and now she's on the other side of it. It's somebody else has the hand.
It would have been really cool too. And this, I think the way they ended it was awesome. But like, could you imagine if she tried to go in again and the person she talked to was Riley?
Yeah, that could have
been. He actually died.
Yeah, that could have been.
And then he like wouldn't let her go. And then he was like fucking with her for the rest of her life. And she was, you know what I mean?
It's possible.
Like that, like think of like that was like his revenge thing. Like he was trying to get at her.
But the
ending was so cool. Like it was so cool.
Yeah, no, I was like, that's fucking sick. And like that really is important in horror movies. Like I know Sixth Sense has been like so parodied and everything now, but like that was insane. When you first saw it for the first time, or like The Mist. Remember The Mist?
Oh yeah.
That was insane. Like that movie wasn't as good as this movie the whole time, but then it just has like such a memorable ending. Whereas this is like very, very good, very, very good. And you're like, oh, and it just like the way it's shot too. And like, even at the second Mia's grabbing the hand, you're like, what is she doing? Is she going like back in, or like, what is she, what's she doing? And then it like the camera spins and it's a different party full of people.
Yeah.
She's looking at a guy, and now she's fucking dead.
But it was great too, because like the movie's called Talk to Me, right? And the entire last scene when she's in the hospital and she sees everybody that she knows, she's calling out their names and they won't talk to her.
Right. Yeah.
And that's like her version of hell. It's like no one she loves will talk to her anymore. And then, like you said, she reaches out for that hand, and then all of a sudden it's like they're in Greece. Like they're speaking Greek. And like
that hand is not near her anymore, right?
No.
Or even the Romans or Greeks.
That could be involved in the. So we're getting a sequel, Talk to Me, with the number 2. That's for real. They already made the poster. Do you think it's going to be? And I haven't read this, so maybe they've already announced it. But we were doing some digging, and it's supposed to be a prequel, how the hand came into existence. Got it. So there you go. That was my question. There's basically 3 ways you can do it. You can pick it up from there and sort of see what's going on with Mia and wherever she is, or you could do like a whole new cast of characters, or you do the prequel, which I think in this case I like that the most. I think I am interested in how the hand now. This can be tricky. Horror sequels are, not like all sequels, I guess, are kind of hit or miss. So I don't know.
See, the funny thing too, like if you think about it, I was thinking about this too. It's like you knew that something bad was going to happen because you have to like shake the hand, but it's the left hand.
Yeah, it's a lefty shake.
So it's like it's something's backwards there.
Sign of the devil.
That's right.
You write with your left hand, like me and Davey.
I write with both, so it's
well, only when God's watching.
Switching hands.
I switch on the regular. No, but this was great. This was an absolute gem. Also a $4.5 million budget.
Which this has got no way. There no reason they're not making a sequel. How much money did this make?
As of right now, box office is 68.9 million.
I mean,
off of 4.5. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Not bad. Not bad. And I wonder, you never know, because I feel like sometimes these horror sequels come out real quick, but you never know now with all the strikes and everything else going on. So I don't know what
Who knows? Who knows these things?
Timetable is on that. But if you guys talk to me, let us know at Dork Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, or you can email us dorkpodcast@gmail.com. Definitely going to be on the short list for best, if not the best, horror movie of 2023. Anything else on the film, Ryan?
It's great. See it.
I liked it.
You're going to have problems, just like everything else. But stay positive and stay strong.
I thought it was very strong. All right, let's go to this.
Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb.
All right, Ryan, would you like to kick, receive, defer, or you may also choose at this time to defend a goal?
Okay, I will receive because I feel like I've been off this the past couple of weeks, and so this is something I haven't seen yet, but I will absolutely be watching this week when it debuts. But we haven't watched Gen V yet, which dropped this week.
I thought that
Friday.
I thought that was the 29th.
It said it's out now.
Oh, it is?
I think so.
Let's take a look. Let's take a little look.
Is it out now?
No, 29th.
Okay, so I feel like every time it pops up on Prime and it's like, watch this now. They're lying.
Oh, it's probably like the trailer, and then it's like comes out the 29th.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
what does come out Friday, I think, the Continental from the world of so it's the establishment of the Continental from John Wick, and I think it's on Peacock.
It is
starting this week.
It is on Peacock.
Mel Gibson is in it.
Really?
Yeah. So this is something I will definitely be watching.
Comes out on
for sure.
Friday, the 22nd.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a young. I forget the guy. Who's the guy who just died? Lance Reddick. I think,
Was he?
So he's
Winston?
in it.
Yeah.
The Winston's in it, but he's young. So it's like a prequel to like John Wick, I think.
I feel like there's gonna be no in between. Either this is gonna be awesome or it's gonna be terrible.
Yes. And so what's awesome, Richard, I have another pick of the pod too. And I am so excited.
All right.
I've never been so thankful for Barstool Sports in my entire life, other than the time where they hired me for like a hot second and then, or said they wanted me to write for them and then tanked the thing that I was supposed to write for.
Got it.
That being Barstool LA. Remember those days? That was like 15 years ago. Whatever.
That was a long time ago. I remember that.
So they posed a question. This whole thing has been all over the internet. How often men think of the Roman Empire?
Oh yeah.
I would like to offer, if you have any questions, burning questions about the Roman Empire, please ask.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to answer any and all queries as a person who is not expert, but someone who is well read in the late Roman Republic. I'm more than happy to answer those questions for you.
Or even the Romans or Greeks.
I mean, you're not an expert.
I wouldn't call myself an expert. I know more than most people.
Okay. Oh shoot! I think I stepped on that. That would have been a good drop.
I'm not saying you're an expert.
I know more than most people.
I mean, it's my job. You know more about radio than most people because you work in radio, right?
Listen,
it's your life's work.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think it's a nice drop because the drop is isolated. It has nothing to do with the Roman Empire, just as you know more than most people. So it's a funny drop, which is good.
So let me fix it. Cut that. I know more about the Romans than most people.
Got it. No, that's fine.
I can't use it anymore.
I would.
I know I still said the other thing.
Take it up. Figure it out. this I know isn't Roman, this is more Norse, but my sister texted me, and she never recommends TV shows to me, but she texted me out of nowhere, and she's like, "Have you seen Ragnarok on Netflix?"
I
Have
watched
you
the
watched that?
first episode. I watched the first episode, and I was like, "This seems interesting," and then I completely forgot about it because I think it was on
Yeah,
like House of there was another show that was coming on that I was
I
needed
think
to
there's
watch.
like 3 seasons. We actually
Yeah.
somebody DM'd us recently and said we should check it out too. So maybe
Mhm.
if I get around to that. I got a couple of pick of the pods here. I just started it, so I'm like 1 episode in, but Netflix just put out a new documentary series called Wrestlers about the Ohio Valley Wrestling, which used to be it was like pre NXT, but now it's not owned by WWE. But Al Snow, former WWE wrestler, runs it. So Al Snow's in this,
Really?
and then a bunch of like uh independent wrestlers. Yeah, that's interesting.
Is Head involved?
They haven't brought him out yet or her out yet. And then finally, Ryan, this week I'm going to be on the TLDR podcast. In fact, the next 2 weeks I'm going to be on the TLDR podcast. This week it's going to be on DC Black Label comics. We're sort of tiering them, like the ones that you got to read versus the ones you can kind of
Mhm.
forget about. And then next week, Fryer and I are doing a all Red Hood episode. I'm excited about that.
Excited? You gonna break out your sweatshirt?
I'll probably wear it. Yeah, it's actually on the back of my here. Always have it ready. You never know.
I got that thing fucking ready to go.
But guess what we're doing next week on the hashtag Dork podcast?
I have
Lost.
so much homework. I have so much homework to do.
We have 121 episodes to brush up on. Jason Ross is going to join us. Oh, also an alert. We'll tweet this out too, but we're going to be on Monday next week as well, and for the foreseeable future, because Rich Keefe show is off the air Monday nights at 7:30 to make room for Monday Night Football, and Davey has other responsibilities on Sundays. So Monday, at least for the next few months, we are going to be doing the podcast 9:00 Mondays, including this upcoming Monday when Rossi joins us for Lost.
I just found a 51-minute whole series recap on YouTube, so that's going to be an hour of just.
That's going to be like us. I'll come up with some questions just because there's so much,
and it's so dense, and I've forgotten so much, like the side stories that happen.
Yeah,
Like I have to rewatch all of that shit.
I tried making like brief notes because even when something memorable happens, I'm always like, I'm binge watching, like I'm gonna forget stuff. So I try to make some notes. Anyway, so Lost next week for those that either haven't watched it or if you have, gonna be a hell of an episode. All right, Ryan, you can the people out there, you can rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a dork. Hashtag Dork on Apple Pods or wherever you get your podcast. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast. Email us your should I have bought this submissions to dorkpodcast@gmail.com, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/Dork Podcast.
Coming up on that million.
Oh, sneaking up on it. Maybe by the new year, even. We could have that. All right, Ryan, promise me one thing.
What's that?
Promise me a million times over you never do another rule.
Yeah, I can't promise you that.